Willy Wonka, Abraham Lincoln, and Adolf Hitler cleans house all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is June 30th, 2025. It is the 181st day of the year. There are 184 days left in 2025. We're almost at the halfway mark. Today is the 26th Monday in the 27th week, and it's the 11th day of summer. You got 84 days left until fall. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is a pearl or a moonstone. You get two. We'll talk about that for a while. How is everyone? How you like my little getup? I feel very studious this way. And I think it may become a thing because my wife got a little excited when she saw me dressed like this. We'll see how it works out. I'll keep you updated. All right, let's see what else June 30th has given us. 1864, Lincoln gives Yosemite to California, nature's first lease agreement. Before Yosemite became the national park we know today, it was basically raw, wild California wilderness. On June 30th, 1864, in the middle of the Civil War, no less, Abraham Lincoln signed a bill granting Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias to the state of California. The idea? Let the public enjoy the beauty. No logging, no mining, no rich guy building a hunting lodge with keep out signs every 100 feet. It was one of the first times the federal government said, hey, maybe this land is worth preserving just because it's gorgeous. No other reason, it's just gorgeous. Spoiler alert, this little move laid the groundwork for the entire U.S. national park system. So if you've ever Instagram Half Dome, you've got Lincoln to thank. (1906) Congress passes the Meat Inspection Act and the Pure Food and Drug Act. You can now thank Upton Sinclair for not eating rat sausages. In the early 1900s, the American food industry was more Wild West than FDA approved. Enter muckraker Upton Sinclair, who published The Jungle, a novel that exposed the horrifying conditions in Chicago's meatpacking plants. We're talking rats, rotting meat, and workers falling into rendering vats. I don't know what a rendering vat is, but it sounds exciting. Americans were grossed out. Teddy Roosevelt read it and basically said, nope, not on my watch. So Congress passed the Meat Inspection Act and the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906. These laws kicked off the government regulations that require proper labeling and inspections. So your hot dog stopped being a terrifying mystery tube. It became a slightly less mysterious mystery tube. 1934, our old nemesis and most hated man that ever walked the planet, Adolf Hitler, was up to his old tricks. On June 30th, 1934, the night of the long knives happened. Hitler cleans house, mafia style. This wasn't your average political shakeup. In late June 1934, Adolf Hitler decided some of his early supporters, like the SA, basically his party's muscle, were getting a little too bold and independent. So he launched a brutal purge. Over a few days, the Nazi regime assassinated more than 80 people, though some estimates are higher. The victims weren't just political rivals. Some were old friends, allies, or people who simply annoyed Hitler. The move solidified Hitler's control over Germany and sent a clear message. Loyalty was mandatory, and you didn't get a retirement party. You got a bullet or a long knife. It was brutal, bloody, and marked a turning point in the Nazi consolidation of power. It was ugly. I read part of a book on this, and I got to the section about that, and I was pretty grossed out. It was horrible. I mean, the man never did anything that wasn't horrible, at least that we know of. I understand he was a painter. That didn't make up for all the other stuff, but man, that was brutal. It was ugly. 1959, a jet crashes into an elementary school in Okinawa. An American F-100 Super Sabre jet took off from an air base in Okinawa. It didn't stay airborne for long. The jet crashed into Miyamori Elementary School, I hope I pronounced that right, killing 11 students and 6 people from the neighborhood. More than 200 others were injured. The tragedy sparked outrage among Okinawans, many of whom already resented the heavy U.S. military presence on the island. The incident became a symbol of the risks and the costs that came with Americans' post-World War II occupation of Okinawa. And let's just say, sorry didn't exactly make everything okay. It's still remembered in Japan as a dark moment in post-US-Japan relations. 1985, TWA Flight 847's hostages are freed. Yes, Beirut's longest layover ends. In June of 1985, TWA Flight 847 was hijacked by Hezbollah militants after leaving Athens. The ordeal turned into an international hostage crisis that dragged on for 17 days, with 39 American passengers held in Beirut. During the standoff, one American Navy diver, Robert Stetham, was beaten and killed, his body dumped onto the tarmac. The rest of the hostages were moved from location to location like a tragic game of hide and seek. Eventually, after a mess of back-channel deals and pressure from various governments, the hijackers released the remaining hostages on June 30th. The event left a permanent scar in the history of Middle East terrorism and U.S. foreign policy. Also, air travel security was never the same, and as you can imagine, it just got worse on 9/11. 1990, East and West Germany merge economies from 2 wallets to 1. Before Germany officially reunified later in 1990, East and West Germany's had to do something arguably trickier: merge their economies. The West German Deutschmark became the official currency of East, and East Germans finally had access to consumer goods that weren't, well, terrible. At the time, prior to this event, they were waiting in line like 5 hours to get coffee, and it wasn't even good coffee. I don't know if it's true or not, but I read stories like they had chocolate and vanilla ice cream. That was it, and only a few people got it because they always ran out. But overnight, East Germany jumped into capitalism like someone bungee jumping with no idea how gravity works. It was bumpy. Businesses collapsed, unemployment soared, and Western Germans weren't exactly thrilled about footing the bill. But still, it marked a major milestone on the road to full reunification. Also, East German kids suddenly had Game Boys, so that was worth it. Movies released on June 30th, 1971. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, one of the greatest kids' movies of all time. One of the greatest movies of all time. You can't deny that. I love this movie. I've probably watched it 20 times in my life. But it was released in 1971, and it's a film adaptation of the 1964 children's novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and turns it into a psychedelic journey through the weirdest factory ever imagined. At the center of it all is Charlie Bucket, a kind-hearted, dirt-poor boy who lives in a shack with his 4 bedridden grandparents and dreams of chocolate like it's like it's Soylent Green or something. He had a sweet tooth, to say the least. So did his uncle, or so did his grandpa. When Willy Wonka, the reclusive and eccentric candy tycoon, announced a global contest to find 5 golden tickets hidden in chocolate bars, the whole world goes into a sugar-fueled frenzy. Charlie miraculously finds one, against all odds. It was incredible. The way they set it up in the movie and the book was fantastic. You think there's no hope. You kind of know because that's, he's the center of the movie and the book, but it just seemed like it wasn't going to happen. And then it does. Even though you know it's going to happen, when you watch the movie again, you still get that excitement. And just like that, he's heading to the Golden Gates after finding his ticket for this tour with 4 other kids who seem to be walking personality disorders. A spoiled brat, a glutton, a gum chewer, and a TV-obsessed gremlin. Spoiler alert, things go off the rails fast. Inside the factory, things got weird, like edible flowers, boat rides into a psychedelic tunnel. The tour showcases mind-bending rooms like the Chocolate River, the fizzy lifting drink, and the infamous inventing room. Meanwhile, the kids start dropping like flies, metaphorically and literally, each one falling victim to their own bad behavior. Through it all, Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka, flips between charming, cryptic, and should we call the authorities on someone, making it one of the most uniquely unsettling children's films of all time. The movie ends with a big moral payoff. Charlie, being the only one not to act like a self-absorbed maniac, wins the entire chocolate factory, because apparently the real golden ticket was good character all along. Just a wonderful, wonderful book and movie. I've read the book. Read it like once all the way through when I was, 8th grade or something like that. And then I read it again when I was in the Army because we were stuck someplace and they had a library. It was there. I just started reading it. Got about halfway through. But it was an amazing trip. It was an amazing story. Just an incredible movie. Born on June 30th, 1966, Mike Tyson, American boxer and actor. What a life this guy has led. From dirt poor kid that raised pigeons on the roof in like Brooklyn or the Bronx, whatever it was, to getting in touch with one of the greatest boxing coaches of all time, Customato, who took him in, treated him like a son, and sent him on the road to fame and fortune. Sadly, he lost a lot of it and ended up in jail at one point. He's had a colorful and quite a strange life, but definitely a character, to say the least. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, enjoy your day, be nice to each other.